Hey, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. And today I'm excited to chat with you about product management certifications and really everything you need to know getting into the space, what certifications you need or don't need in order to land a product management role. Today we'll be specifically talking about the DASM or Disciplined Agile Scrum Master certification. And hopefully this is helpful for you as you're looking at possibly going into and getting your DASM certification for your role. So my name is Andrew. I've been a product manager for just over 2 years now. And when I originally started, I thought that it was extremely important to get a product management certification or something of that sort, really to break into the space. But having been in the space for the time that I have, I've realized that certifications aren't everything you make them out to be. Of course, they're helpful for setting you apart in the large application pool, and they help really add something nice to your resume. But more than anything, what they do is really help you gain confidence in the skill set that you're bringing to the organization that you're working at. So for me, in my case, I chose a little over 2 years ago to get the DASM certification. And really going through that process taught me what Disciplined Agile was, how to be a Scrum Master, and a lot of the information that I learned from the DASM course applied directly into my role as a product manager. So before we get into the DASM, let's just kind of take a step back and look at product management as a whole. What we've seen in the marketplace, and I imagine that you yourself, right before watching this video, you've probably looked at some LinkedIn job postings or job boards. You've combed through Fishbowl or Blind and these other different, tech platforms, job hunting platforms. It's really easy to see how competitive the landscape has gotten for product managers. Looking at big FAANG companies, Google, Apple. The roles for product managers are so competitive, and oftentimes if you look at LinkedIn, you'll see each job application, even though it was posted a day ago, has over 200 applications. And what that does is really goes to show how competitive the landscape is and how much it's changed over the past few years. Originally, product managers started back when IBM was manufacturing computers and competing directly against Apple. But as we've seen the market shift and software as a service platforms become more and more prominent, product managers have become an ever-increasingly desired role, and a natural byproduct of that is increased competition. So today, oftentimes for product managers, it's a very difficult role to achieve. However, the benefits are certainly there. So with that, let's get into the DASM certification for product managers. So like I said earlier, DASM stands for Disciplined Agile Scrum Master certification. So Disciplined Agile is really a category of thinking, kind of like a subset of Agile that takes into account the organization that you're working within. So for Disciplined Agile, really what you're doing is taking the Agile framework, but then applying it within your business. Now that's not saying that you're just taking an Agile framework and putting it into your business, because Agile is a very rigid framework in the sense of everything is done off of the sprint intervals and the SDLC process, or the meetings and schedules and procedures that you have are very rigid and structured, and there's always a Scrum Master, and there's always the different counterparts in the organization that play on this team. With Disciplined Agile, what you're doing is really taking into account the people that you have in your organization, the type of product or service that your organization's building, and then the natural development or construction cycle for that product or service. So in some organizations, you may have retrospective meetings, and in some organizations you may not need retrospective meetings, or other organizations you may need longer planning periods or shorter planning periods. And Disciplined Agile really provides you the flexibility to take the Agile framework, add what works within your organization, and remove what doesn't. And so that's the benefit of Disciplined Agile. It kind of gives you a really broad view of how to apply Agile within your organization. It goes beyond that basic Scrum knowledge and applies a lot of different things, just like lean methodology or waterfall methodology. It kind of blends these all together and applies them on an Agile level. So in my experience, the DASM has really equipped me as a product manager to make effective decisions when it comes to working with my team. What I mean by that is, when I was joining and getting started in product, I didn't really know and understand what a sprint was, what these planning meetings were, or kind of how this whole process worked together. And so what Discipline Agile did for me is really gave me a crash course on what a sprint is, what a Scrum Master is, what our planning sessions, what our backlogs, and how does this whole process really fit together. And so going through that, it gave me a formal education, so to speak. I went to a 2-day boot camp on a weekend, and it was like 8 hours a day, and we just grinded through it. But it really gave me a good foundation when I was getting into my role now as a product manager, where I feel fully equipped and I gained a lot of knowledge on how to run with my team and deliver outcomes that move the business forward. Another benefit of the DASM certification is that it helps put you in a position to be an Agile forward leader. What I mean by that in your organization is that you're going to be equipped with the tools to be able to make the decisions on your team that are going to drive for continuous improvement and drive for iterative progress to be made. What that means really is that you're going to be able to make the decisions and the trade-offs of, hey, let's do A over B because we have a commitment set against this, or we have a timeline. We need to make sure that we maximize the amount of development that we can do over the time frame. And doing the DASM certification, the class or course that you may take, really equips you to understand what are the benefits and cons of making each decision, what are the trade-offs that you have to make, and then how to manage those expectations with your stakeholders. So in situations where client A wants a particular feature and client B wants another feature, and they're competing against each other because each feature takes 2 weeks to build and you only have 2 weeks, and you can only pick one because you only have so many engineers or team members that are able to work on that project. This equips you with the ability to understand, let's choose A over B because the client is going to spend more money, or the client is more valuable for our portfolio, or we already have this planned out and feature B has not been planned out. DASM gives you the ability to make those trade-offs and have those discussions. So today, as a product manager, really you have kind of three roles, right, in an organization. You have project planning, which is about 30% of your job, right? Planning new features or new products and how those work together, and then working with engineers to plan those. Then you have estimation, so like I said, working with your engineers to plan what's the timeline, what's the constraints, how do I build a product roadmap that expands 6 months to a year, and that allows me to actually deliver on those particular features on the dates that we can commit to clients with them. And then the other part of your job is risk management, right? As a product manager, you're in a sense the CEO of your own product. A lot of people say that, but really it's true. And what that means is that you have to make the decisions on what will this product look like today, tomorrow, and in 3 weeks, and in 3 years. And so you're always having to make those trade-offs, and DASM really equips you with the tools to go through each of those verticals and effectively make decisions that you can be confident in. So now let's talk a little bit about practical application of the DASM certification. So the DASM, in my opinion, I think is a very practical certification. Like I said, I took it right when I was jumping into product. I knew nothing more than just watching a few YouTube videos about what Facebook product managers did, and the DASM certification helped to really give me a professional working knowledge of all of the terms, all the jargon, what are sprints, what is carryover, how do teams do estimation, what does a roadmap look like. Things like that were very important in helping me just understand and be able to take my skills to the next level and shorten the learning curve that I had when getting into product management. The DASM focuses on a lot of real-world scenarios. At least the training class that I did was through the Product Management Institute, PMI, and they focused on a lot of real-world scenarios, specifically applying to software. So the DASM is a software-focused certification. You don't have to be in product to get benefit, or you don't have to be in software to get a benefit out of the DASM certification, but it's designed for Agile teams, and Agile teams, more times than not, tend to be in the product world. But if your organization operates in a continuous improvement or lean fashion, this is still applicable and can still be helpful in helping you understand what tools you have in your toolkit that you can bring to your organization. One of the biggest values that I got out of the DASM certification is that it was able to be directly applied to my role. The things that I learned in that class in the weekend directly applied to what I was doing on Monday and Tuesday. We were in the middle of sprints, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's go through and groom the backlog and manage some expectations, work on our features that we have planned, and what timelines are we going to miss? What timelines are we going to be able to hit? And what timelines can we commit to? How do I trade off and measure capacity in our sprints against new requests that are coming in? And so that, I think, was really the core value that I got out of the certification, is that it really helped make me a more effective product manager. And so I would highly recommend looking at that. So getting into kind of wrapping up here for the video, I think to summarize, the DASM, again, is a software-focused certification. It stands for Disciplined Agile Scrum Master, and what it helps you do is understand the tools and concepts of Disciplined Agile and how to take those and apply them directly into your organization. Disciplined Agile is a form of Agile thinking that's a lot more flexible and allows you to really customize your Agile approach to what works best in your organization. From my experience, I would recommend exploring and looking at getting certified as a Disciplined Agile Scrum Master, because what I learned in the program directly applied to my role as a product manager. And as we all know, the market's getting more competitive, and if you want to stand out and really show that you have put your best foot forward and taken the next step to understand what goes into creating an Agile environment that delivers features and positive outcomes at scale, the DASM certification can be a great place to start, especially if you're a new or aspiring product manager really looking to get your foot in the door. So with that, hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions about the DASM or are curious about where to enroll or get started or look at any more information, check out the description below. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the Project Management Institute, PMI, on there for you. You can go and subscribe, be a member, and schedule a class or a workshop near you to get educated on the DASM. And again, if you have any questions, drop them down below. Happy to respond to your comments, and hopefully this video is helpful. If it is, give me a thumbs up or something. Super appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully you can take the DASM. So with that, thanks so much for watching. If the DASM is interesting to you, check it out, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.